Please stay tuned for a brief message from Jimmy Aiken.
As Advent begins, StarQuest is producing more than 50 hours of shows each month, bringing faith and reason into conversations that matter. Each hour of content takes at least 10 to 15 hours to create, and much more than that on Mysterious World, given all the research and writing that I do. Our patrons make that possible. This season, we're inviting listeners to become monthly patrons at $10 or more, or to increase by $10 monthly. As a thank you, you'll receive a Mysterious World sticker signed by Dom Bettinelli and me. And right now, a generous supporter is matching all new and increased monthly gifts up to $15,000 through Epiphany, doubling your impact. Visit sqpn.com/give to become a patron today. Thank you.
Hi, this is Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars, and you're listening to the Secrets of Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.
Hello there.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
That's not how the Force works.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars, where we talk about everything connected to that galaxy far, far away. From movies to books, TV shows, and more, we are looking at the deeper themes and meanings found in the Star Wars universe. Be sure to follow The Secrets of Star Wars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast app, or on the StarQuest YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, on X or Twitter, where we are at SQPN, or on Instagram, where we are at StarQuest Network. Be sure to get your official Secrets of Star Wars gear at sqpn.com/merch. I am your host, Robert King. Joining me tonight on the panel are Kathryn Laffrey. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi, Robert.
And Thomas Salerno. Hey, Thomas.
Hello, Robert.
It's good to have you both. Tonight, we are discussing Visions, Volume 3, Episode 2, The Song of Four Wings. And just to catch up on Visions, Visions is the sort of standalone, non-canonical animated series where Lucasfilm reached out to a bunch of different animators. This season or volume, it's a bunch of anime animators, and it's great to sort of return to that tradition. In this one, The Song of Four Wings, it's an original story, and I suppose I have to say that because some of the episodes this season are sequels to previous volumes of Visions. But this is a standalone story, an original story by Project Studio Q, who worked with Trigger Incorporated on the Volume 1 episode, The Twins, but this episode is not connected to that episode as far as we know. The story follows Crane. Crane is a scout for the Rebel Alliance. She is definitely not a princess because her kingdom, of which she was a princess, was destroyed by the Empire. She and her astromech, R9TR2, or TOR2, are investigating an Imperial landing near their base on Joetz. Joetz? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. In any case, it's a snowy world. It looks a lot like Hoth. They find a burnt-out village, and they rescue a survivor, Woopas, a Gagoran child, at least that's what Wikipedia calls it. It's a cute, fuzzy little kid who makes origami cranes, but with four wings. Ooh. Now, the Empire is not quite... Oh, yeah. For you watching the video feed, Kathryn is like dancing her origami crane in front of the camera. Thanks, Kathryn. The Empire is not quite gone from the village. They have to fight their way out. And in the course of their escape, they discover why the Empire is there. There is an Imperial coaxium mining operation going on. Coaxium being, of course, the hyperspace fuel in the Star Wars universe. So Crane ends up losing her speeder bike in the fight, but Tortu transforms into flying armor surrounding Crane and Whoopus. Whoopus uses the Force to fix Tortu's blaster cannons, allowing her to take out the mining crawler, and they eventually escape back to Crane's ship, which is when she discovers Whoopus's Force abilities as they are flying off into the stars. It's an exciting episode, but it kind of grabs all sorts of cool stuff from all over the place, not just the Star Wars universe, and it throws it all together in a really unique and energizing way. Almost absurd. And they kind of point this out. Like at the very beginning, she's scooting along over the snow on her speeder bike with Tortu in the sidecar, and she gets a little mini cassette and puts it into Tortu and starts blasting music, and her boss calls her out and was like, "You're on a secret scouting mission. You really shouldn't be blasting your music so loud." So there's like a consciousness of the absurdity going on there.
Right.
But
and sleeveless in the snow.
Sleeveless in the snow, yeah.
I didn't even notice that until I saw it in our notes. I was like, oh, well, that's right. Oh, I guess. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, she should have been freezing.
Oh my goodness, yes. But so yeah, what did you think about just the overall style and approach and storytelling dynamic of this episode? Kathryn, you said that this really vibed with you.
It did, because it took me back to high school. I have this book on origami, all in Japanese, that was given to me by my best friend in high school. Met her like the second day of 9th grade English. She spoke hardly any English. English teacher had me sit next to her, and we like hit it off right away. And we became friends over origami.
Nice.
And she taught me how to do it and gave me this book. And yeah, she tried to teach me Japanese. I remember Ogenki desu ka, which I think is like, how are you, or something like that. And that was about all I could remember. Her English is beautiful, though.
Now, you said that the various sort of references and Easter eggs and things like deepened your experience of the story. This is in a conversation we had just before we started recording. So
yes.
Yeah.
And it all came together the first moment that she doesn't call her name herself Crane. She calls herself Crane.
Yeah.
Crane. And I was like, Crane. And then I saw the little subtitles and went, oh, her name is Crane. And then she sees the paper crane when she's looking for the survivor.
Uh-huh.
And if you know the story behind the paper crane and a survivor, do you guys know it?
No, I don't.
I do, but share it for our audience.
Yeah, so there was a young 2-year-old girl who had survived the bombing of Nagasaki. And she had radiation poisoning. And there's an older legend with the folding of paper cranes that is, if you fold 1,000 of them, you can have a wish come true.
Oh,
and
I've heard that
cranes
part.
Were
yeah.
A protective animal. There's actually like a prayer that parents would say that a flock of cranes would open their wings over their child to protect them. So it's almost like, in the Catholic sense, like a guardian angel. And so this young girl, she was getting sicker and sicker, but kept making the paper cranes. And then she was like, well, I don't think my wish is going to come true. So she had her wish instead for hope and peace in the world. So I was like, oh, how fitting for Star Wars, especially like this kind of had like a New Hope kind of vibe to it with the princess and everything. And so that was that little bit of hope. And then seeing the young Whoopus character making all these cranes and had tons of them all around her, in the little place where they're hiding out and waiting for hope. But what was neat was seeing the look on the princess's face when she sees the 4 wings. You can't fold these with 4 wings. So it's kind of neat to.
It's magical.
She kind of was like, wait a minute. And then especially the big reveal at the end when you see her droid turn into like an X-Wing Iron Man suit. And so she was the hope that this child was waiting for. So she was the crane for that child. So I was like, that was cool.
And she mentions the guardian spirit thing to him. Yeah, she calls it a guardian deity.
Yep. So kind of give a Nagasaki kind of tie into Star Wars.
That is, yeah. It's such a cool story, and thanks. You told it really well. Thanks for sharing that, Kathryn. Thomas, what were your sort of thoughts about the approach to the story, the kind of wild and pulling from all over kind of approach?
Well, just the whole presentation in general, if I had to boil it down to one word, it would just be charming. I was just charmed by the episode. And I feel like this is one that I might actually go back and rewatch a few times, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just the kind of the bonkersness of it didn't really bother me. In fact, for me, that was kind of part of the charm, because I felt like it didn't detract from its Star Warsiness, if that makes sense. Like, even with all the bonkers elements, they were taking enough things seriously where I felt like that didn't detract. It was almost like payoff for me. I really enjoyed the music. I was bopping along to the music, and the music brought me back to my childhood because it had a very Super Nintendo vibe.
I was gonna say it sounded kind of like video game music.
Yeah, it had this Super Nintendo vibe where like even the part where they're going against the snowcrawler at the end, I'm like, this is like final boss music, like, and it even ends like that 16-bit final boss where it blows up in this colorful, stupendous explosion, at the end, and you get like the armor and fly around. So it was like a Sega Genesis game or Super Nintendo. I just so I think that really appealed to me, and I just love Whoopus. I'm a sucker for cute little aliens like that, and just all of his expressions were endearing and charming. And I also felt, especially in the when Kurane first meets him and he's like unsure of her, and he's like reaching out very tentatively and he draws back. And he reaches out again and he draws back. Just those little emotions. It was very effective. Immediately endears you to the character. And so, it was just one of those things where I'm like, this was like a very frenetic and fun kind of 15 minutes of anime. And I just enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I also was seeing like the video game elements in it that like, it's almost like the structure of the story was a video game structure. There's, you have your little cut scene that sets things up, and then you have your fight where you're kind of like dodging the obstacles and you're hitting the targets, and then you've got your cut scene to wrap it up. And it was I like the word bonkers. I think that's one I was reaching for earlier, and frenetic. is another excellent descriptor of this episode.
And even like when another video game thing, when the Admiral, he keeps coming on, that's like with like those early like Metal Gear like games where like the general, whoever it is, comes on and talks to Snake in like the little wavy kind of hologram thing, and it's just like, and you can just see like the 16-bit text going across the screen in my mind, or it's like, be careful, like you shouldn't play your music so loud, like any it's just great.
Well, speaking of text, I love the opening.
Oh yeah
where they had the Japanese in blue on the black, and I watched another video clip of someone talking about it, and they're like, I want that as a t-shirt. Like, that'd be awesome.
One thing I will complain about is that the subtitles go by far too fast for you to read in English, for you to read what it says. They should keep those on the screen longer, because I had to pause the video multiple times in order to read the entire thing.
Yeah, I think that's because they had that text on the screen for a certain amount of time. And, you know, they just had to get all of that translation in. I the second time I watched it through, so the first time I watched it through, I watched it with the English audio. And the second time I watched it with Japanese audio and English subtitles.
How was that?
Honestly, not that different, because they kept the English subtitles were the dubbed English dialogue. So,
okay.
You know, a lot of times, like if you get an anime and you listen to the English dub, it's different from reading the English subtitles of the Japanese original audio. And I'm guessing that Japanese was probably the original, like this was written in Japanese and first recorded in Japanese, and everything else is kind of dubbed on. But and of course it's Disney, so they have 20 different language choices on it. It's like a great commitment to your global audience, but so it was not as different an experience as I expected, but of course the performances were slightly different. Like different moments of cuteness and a different kind of sort of gruff authority from the Admiral and so on. Yeah. Go ahead, Kathryn. It looks like you want to say something.
No, there's just a few. I mean, the entry music was it was fun. At first, I'm like, okay. I was a little annoyed because it just kept going over and over again. But then I was like
video game music. It repeats in like those 2-second loops of the Super Nintendo.
And then I started really, okay, second time I watched it, I was just kind of like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's like, go back to the techno 80s and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But it really had that energetic feel of like Speed Racer with the fun silliness of Sailor Moon or something. It was just,
both of those, occurred to me. Yeah. I liked how her outfit was, and I only noticed this on the second watch through, a mix of Rebel Snowtrooper and Imperial Stormtrooper armor pieces. Like she scavenged parts from different folks. Like she's got Imperial, I think, Snowtrooper goggles, but she's got some of the padding, and I think her boots are like Rebel Alliance Snowtroopers, but she's got a Stormtrooper chest plate. Yeah, it was a neat design for a character.
And she had Princess Leia's hair.
Right, yeah, I think from Empire, right?
Well, when you see her flashbacks, she's got the little buns, so it kind of reminds me of little Leia in Kenobi. And then when you see her putting her hair back, she's got the braid that Leia had. So it's like kind of cool.
And I think she puts in her hair this medallion, and I noted it's a variant of the Rebel Starbird symbol, but as a crane, which was really, really cool. I love the different variants of the Starbird emblem, and this is another one, which is really cool.
There's a lot of sort of very deliberate mashing up and playing with variations on things, and especially like mashing up classic anime tropes with Star Wars lore and such. Like, I mean, we've already talked about Tortu sort of going into armor mode and becoming not quite a mecha, but that sort of mechanized armor that's so common in anime, and yet it's not just basic anime mecha armor. It's also X-Wing ish, and and like the AT-ATs that kind of jump out and then kind of blossom into these massive cannon platforms with like 4 arms and big guns on the ends of each of them, and these are classic anime style monster power-ups, and it
was also very Power Rangers too. Very kind of tokusatsu, like especially her X-Wing armor that goes over herself reminds me of sometimes when the weapons or robots that they have will like clamp onto the Power Rangers or something like that. It was that was really neat.
Yeah, and having the sonic charges. Oh my gosh!
All
that
those
to the music. That was
sonic
awesome.
charges from episode 2. Yeah.
Although, so that was one of the 2 things that really didn't work for me. That like really threw me out of the episode, because those sonic charges in episode 2, when they were introduced, were just massive, huge, covering entire asteroid fields, right? And these were relatively tiny, they were like little grenades. And I was expecting them to like
version.
just, spread across the entire landscape. And it's like, okay, these are like little tiny mini sonic charges, I guess. And the other thing that I just couldn't get over was that the Imperial mining plant was essentially a modified Jawa sandcrawler.
Right.
And I just could not, I don't know, I can't see Jawas collaborating with the Empire in that way.
They don't have to, because in the lore, the Jawas requisitioned the sandcrawlers. They took them over. They were originally a human invention for like mining companies.
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay. Where
they kind of have a variation of it in Rebels too.
Yeah, like it's in both the old lore and the new lore. I learned about it first in the Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels from back in the 90s, but I've checked with some of the newer stuff, and they seem to have kept that bit of lore that the Jawas modified the sandcrawlers to fit them. Like when Mando's in the cockpit, he's all hunched over because the Jawas have like made it to fit their size. But that originally, and I forget which fictional company in Star Wars originally manufactures them. But yeah, they were meant to be kind of a standard mining platform. So I could see the Empire like just requisitioning one and modifying it to have those 2 big giant like drills in it. But yeah, but I could see how like, for someone who like, if your only association with them is the Jawas, like, oh, it must be a Jawa thing. And then you see it's like, did the Jawas just donate it to the Empire? It's like, no, I think, yeah. And I can see how that would pull you out.
Yeah, you are. So.
It's like
well, they
I
strip
read that
mining
Vehicles
version.
and Vessels book like probably 3 or 4 times cover to cover.
Yeah. But they had a strip mining version of it in Rebels, going across the planet.
Which episode was that?
It's probably in the 3rd season.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to, where they were
was that the one
liberating.
where it was like a 2-part vehicle that like it had a front and a back with sort of a bridge in between? I
don't know.
Are we
I'm
thinking
I'm
of the
not
same
remembering
thing?
it with a bridge in between, but I just remember it being like about the same size and shape, just big towering block. But instead of crawling, I think it was actually fire burning and stripping the grasslands.
I think I remember that episode, and for some reason that one wasn't like, it didn't have the distinctive Jawa sandcrawler shape that threw me out.
Yeah, it was different, but similar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then it's bringing in the coaxium, because you learn about that in Solo. Get a little deeper look into that and how volatile it is. So again, that took me back to, Nagasaki and the atomic boom.
Sure. Yeah.
Although why they would have it so unshielded that a single blast from this cannon could like destroy the entire walker in like a massive explosion. I'm like,
what do you mean? That's a standard Imperial design requirement.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's because they're so lax on safety. If you've ever read the Rogue One novel, where they actually include some of the paperwork where the Empire deliberately doesn't allows the exhaust port to get made on the Death Star because they're deliberately trying to cut corners. Yeah, I can see them doing that.
Everything's got an exhaust port somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, I loved our little Wampus character in the slingshot moves.
Yes, slingshot, yes.
Oh, yeah, like David and Goliath taking down the stormtroopers and then throwing the
thermal detonator.
The thermal detonator.
Yeah.
Perfect spot on the neck of the, AT-AT. So, yeah.
I love that. Crane is like, you know how to use thermal detonators? Cool. Do it.
It was just so anime. Yeah. And there was even a little, you mentioned the absurdity earlier, Robert. It almost had too kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of feel, of course, with the little cassette tapes and the funky music, but just the general absurdity kind of marked it out as almost like a Guardians thing. It was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the ultimate absurdity, her cannons weren't working because they weren't plugged in.
The AC adapter.
Oh my goodness!
Did that bring you out of it, Robert? That there's a little AC plug.
Well, and especially because I am keenly aware that the United States has the worst power outlets in the world. Anyone who travels internationally knows you need to get an adapter because nobody's power outlets look like ours, and there's a reason for it, because ours are insanely dangerous and horrible. It's just the worst engineering, and the only reason we still do it is because, well, we've kind of done it across the whole continent, and we're stuck with it. But sorry, it's just so seeing a 2-prong American style outlet was just
that was very silly.
I was like, it's probably, there's probably a reason it was unplugged. It's probably because if you plug this in, it'll short the whole system out and destroy the droid.
Yeah.
Hey, only if it's wintertime and you're running across the carpet in your wool socks with scissors.
Yeah, well, it was definitely wintertime now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, don't plug this in or your Christmas tree will explode,
But it was Whoopus who figured out the problem and managed to solve it. And
at first I didn't realize he was using the Force. I was he knows technomancy. That's kind of cool. But then I realized in the second view, as soon as they showed him at the end, like levitating the cranes, I'm like, oh, he's Force sensitive. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had some sort of like electro like sense or something where he could fix it, but like, no. Use the Force. Use the Force.
I mean, that would be a cool addition to the Star Wars universe to have like electro manipulation, you know. So then you really could have like Darth Vader versus Magneto.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said, Kathryn.
Isn't that what the Emperor does?
Kinda. But it kind of made me think, is Whoopus the real hero here? Because it seems like Crane is really good at getting into trouble, and Whoopus is really good at getting her out of it.
Yeah, saved her from the troopers, fixed her little suit. Yeah, maybe.
And maybe it's just my prejudice of, the Force users are the real heroes in Star Wars, which I admit is absolutely a prejudice that I have.
I think it's overdone. I would kind of be with you there, Robert, where I think they rely too heavily on that. As much as I love, the Force using characters in Jedi, I think they can be a little too quick to introduce those kind of characters in everything.
Yeah.
Although I felt like Crane was hinting at the fact that she's special too. It almost seems like she got it when she saw him levitate the crane and add the 2 extra wings. It was like, okay. She almost had like this acknowledgement of like, oh yeah, I know what's going on here. Like maybe her too,
She certainly knew enough to recognize
late
it.
bloomer.
There was this interesting kind of through line in the episode about that everyone is here for a reason,
Yes,
and people survive tragedy for a reason. And again, like to Kathryn's point, I think that comes out of the Japan's wartime experience, and the fact that a lot of people didn't make it, and the people who did would have had to deal with that same question. And it's just hitting me now, in those flashback scenes, seeing like the burning cities as the AT-ATs go by. I'm like, well, that's the firebombing of Tokyo. That's Hiroshima and Nagasaki, so clearly, on a first viewing that can be lost on an American audience. But if you rewatch it with that in mind, you're just like, okay.
I want to know what her mom was singing.
Right, because she says at the end,
song?
Yeah, it's just an old song, she says. But we don't know what significance for their planet or their culture that it has, or if it was just a lullaby, or...
Yeah.
Because at first she's quick to kind of dismiss her connection. She almost pulls a Kylo Ren where it's like, let the past die, where she's just like, it's better to let go of the past. But then she gets called out again by the Admiral's like, well, you nostalgically hang on to this old rust bucket here. So this droid that you could...
The only one that can play my music.
Yeah, the only one that still comes with a cassette player. Mini cassette player, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was nothing worse than giving up the minivan that had the cassette player and the DVD player and the
and the 8-track player and the oh man.
And the car phone.
Oh man.
But yeah, what
My
did you
girls
guys
are
think
still
of
mad
that?
I got rid of the VHS player.
What'd you guys think of that kind of through line about like everyone's here for a reason and stuff?
That was nice. It brought a good connection between the two characters. So they could see their parallel story and just, it's true. I mean, God made us all unique, and we're here in this time and space to fulfill his will. And, what are we going to do with it? I really like that. It's that kind of that line of hope, like the cranes.
It's definitely sort of reaching towards the idea of providence and reaching toward the idea of the unique purpose that each of us has in God's plan. I doubt that the writers of the episode are Christian.
Never know.
I think there's something universal to that idea of wanting to know that my life is not random, that there is a reason that I'm here. And I thought the way Crane was able to put it was like, we may not see that purpose ourselves, but it's there. The fact that you are here is evidence that you have purpose. And I think that's something that is really easy to take for granted. Like, the thinking that, your presence in the world or in a situation is something that needs to be justified. Rather than seeing it as itself evidence of purpose or providence. So I really appreciated that.
It's something that a lot of people, even myself, have struggled with. This idea where you feel like you just, your existence here will be worth it if you do such and such a thing.
Yes.
Or if you, if only I check all these boxes, it will, validate me in the eyes of family or society or whoever.
And if I don't, my life is wasted.
Right.
Yeah. But that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That our worth doesn't come from what we do. Our identity is not primarily what we do, but who we are as, beloved children of God. From the Christian perspective, that is the base level identity of who we are. And like I've heard from people who have either traveled extensively in Europe or have lived in Europe that it's kind of considered insulting there, like for like the first question you ask somebody to be, well, what do you do? Like, what's your job? That like people there and in other places that are not America with our kind of work focused culture, like, are not as interested in what you do for a living. That's not one of the first few questions you ask to get to know somebody, so.
Right. Yeah, even like at the end when she discovers that Wupos is force sensitive and can do cool force things, it's not a sense of, oh, this gives Wupos value.
Mm-hmm.
Wupos already has value in her eyes. Wupos was worth risking her life and maybe more importantly, risking her music platform to save, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yet it's still a delight to discover what Wupos could do. It's like, oh, here's an unexpected and maybe not absolutely unique, but it's a characteristic that you have that is very cool and it's delightful, but it's not the source Whoopus's value as a person. And I don't know. I think that may be something that we struggle, at least in 21st century America, to express is like, delight in what you can do without somehow making it a value, judging your value based on what you can do. Recognizing your value is already, infinite. And then there's all kinds of cool stuff on top of this infinite value you have. It's like, ooh, how delightful is that? It makes a lot more sense of I don't know if do you guys pray the Liturgy of the Hours at all?
Yes.
Yeah. So the canticle for Sunday mornings is that canticle from Daniel that's going through, it's just listing all the different parts of creation. And, it's like, seas and rivers bless the Lord, hills and mountains bless the Lord, and it just goes through all of creation. And it's kind of like, creation is amazing and beautiful. And, not only does it exist, each part of it is cool in its own way. And so it's this like overabundant, overflowing sense of joy and appreciation and gratitude for just how amazing creation can be, how tremendous the world can be.
And talk about overabundance. Did anybody look up to see what our cute, adorable little Whoopus is going to grow up to be?
No. Did you?
Yeah. Do you remember the character Moroff in Rebel One?
Okay.
He looks, not Rebel, Rogue One. Sorry, I said Rebel. Rogue One. Looks like a big abominable snowman.
Yeah.
That's what this little cute thing is going to grow up to be.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they have him listed on Wikipedia as a Gigorian. I think I said it right. Or Gigorian? Yeah, so big, giant, furry beast. They never are able to... They can learn a lot of languages, but they're never able to really speak them. So when they get older, they have a mask over their mouth that helps them vocalize to be able to communicate with people. So it was kind of cute to see that his face was always covered.
Uh-huh.
That's neat.
So I was just like going, oh my gosh, that's what that little thing's going to grow up to be.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
If it's the kind of creature I'm thinking of, like, that makes like little Whoopus's like floppy ears even more amazing to me. I was at first confused. I was like, are those, what is that? Does it have 6 limbs? What's going on?
It very much looks like a kind of Pokemon or Digimon type of character.
Uh-huh.
He's got
Very
that.
Pokemon.
Yeah. There are several Digimon, actually, that have the kind of long ears that also sort of function as a third pair of limbs.
Do you think that this could or should get its own sequel in later volumes of Visions?
If they do, I won't complain, but I don't think it necessarily has to.
Yeah. I feel the same way about almost every Visions. It's like, I would love to see the story continue, but it's not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Some of them absolutely not necessary. We'll get to those later. But this one would be a fun. I mean, this could be easily like, you know, a kid's series.
Yeah, like I would watch, if this were an anime series, I'd be watching it. But it's like, you know, but I don't necessarily know if I need that. You know, it's like it's like difference between want and need, I guess, in this case.
Sure,
you know?
sure,
Right.
sure. In a lot of ways, it felt like an origin story, like the origin of the partnership between Crane and Wupos, so it a little bit felt like it ended just when it was getting started, which makes me think, oh, maybe they're at least thinking about the possibility of further, and we know that they're planning to, like, the was it the Ninth Jedi is the one that they are planning to develop into a full series of its own, right?
Yeah.
And so they might do that with others, and this might be a candidate for that. But yeah. Charming characters, wild mashups, bonkers freneticism,
and like little deep cut things, like her ship at the end is a YT 2400, which is in the same sort of YT series, like the 1300, the Millennium Falcon is, but the YT 2400 was famously piloted by Dash Rendar in Shadows of the Empire, the video game.
I recognized that ship, yes.
And the book, yeah. I was like, it's the Outrider, except not, like, whatever name she's given it, but yeah.
Yeah, and all of this cool stuff tied together with with some pretty profound
origami
themes. Yeah. Tied together with origami, tied together with themes of survival and belonging and stuff. Are there any other aspects or themes that you want to call out about this episode? I thought it was amazing, and just a lot of excitement and some really thought-provoking stuff. But what are anything that I'm missing?
I like how she says at the end, her kingdom is gone but not forgotten.
Yeah,
because at the first she says, well, it's gone, best to put the past behind us, but then she's like, well, it's gone, but you know, we can still reverence it for what it was.
Some real learning about the value not just of surviving and being in the present, but of the value of the past and the value even of what is lost.
Right, because you know she had both her and Wumpus have been through some, you know, traumatic stuff. She has to leave her mother behind, you know, and see her whole way of life and everything she knows destroyed. And then, you know, Wumpus is like just, you know, hiding in a cellar, you know, and no doubt had to, you know, there's nobody else left alive in that village. And whether they had been, we don't see any bodies, but whether they had been killed outright or taken into slavery or whatever had happened to them, you know, he no doubt was witness to at least some of it. So these two characters in that sense kind of belong together because they, in that sense, you know, you can tell when she first meets Wumpa, she has that empathy for a fellow being who has gone through a the trauma of losing everything.
Well, the Admiral orders her to return to base as soon as she spots the burned village. But she can't stay away. She has to go down and see it for herself.
Right. Because she left her burning city.
Yeah.
Because she had to. And I don't think she can't do, in her mind, she can't do that again.
Yeah.
She can't run away from danger like that.
Yeah.
I like what the Admiral says. Don't tell me you did something, like risky or like drastic.
Yeah.
Whatever he said. Don't tell me you did something reckless.
The Admiral is very much an excellent gruff uncle type.
Yeah. I like when he says at the end, he shows a little bit of his softer side where, she says like, Wumpus is a tough kid and has a bright future. And he's like, well, if you believe it, it must be true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the perfect people to find each other in their way.
They now just need to make astromech toys for us to buy that can play cassette tapes.
I mean,
and turn into flight suits.
This is true. It does feed into the most Star Wars of Star Wars traditions, which is it will make great toys.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I
with a lot of the visions, as always, great visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can just stop and pause on so many different frames and just take in all the little extra details. Having the, Northern Lights happening. And even when she did her little sliding skid with her speeder bike and you got her foot coming out towards you, it's like, yes. Yeah, just really, really good details to throw in there.
Yes. Yeah, I was watching several episodes back to back, and again, in Star Wars tradition, this one began on a star field and then panned to the scene. But whichever episode I was watching before started on the star field and panned to a starship. And the first thing I noticed about this episode was the star field, like the sky behind the starfield, was not as black as the other one. It was kind of a dark bluish. And I realized, that's because you're already inside an atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's intentional, and it's part of the orienting you to where you are. And then, the aurora in there was amazing. And gorgeous visuals. I mean, Visions is like a treasure trove. Every season has been, every volume has been a treasure trove of gorgeous visuals. Even one that we've been talking about all the references, and like the character designs are so very almost aggressively stereotypically anime, right? But there's such good examples of those types, of those tropes. The giant eyes and the Pokemon type creature, and it's just the giant mecha of the AT-ATs, and it just nails it so well.
Mm-hmm. Having them pop out of the snow like daisies. Although that's quoting Mulan, but
that was surprising to me. It's like, so what were they doing down there? Are there like tunnels under the ice that they were walking through, or did they deliberately bury them as like landmine AT-ATs? Or
right. Reminds me of that footage you see of like submarines coming up from the Arctic ice cap and then like the Cold War.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, the visual of it was utterly stunning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Rule of cool here for the win.
Well, the whole episode was rule of cool. Yeah.
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 Cool. Well, again, any final thoughts to sum things up here? Thomas, you brought us a an interesting corollary to the theme, the value of the past as well as the value of the present. Kathryn, do you have deep thoughts or shallow ones? Or maybe ones that are just sort of buried below the surface that can spring up like an AT-AT? Yeah, I kind of put you on the spot there, didn't I?
I didn't quite hear that as a question, so I was like, okay.
Sorry.
I was like, okay, I have shallow thoughts. Thanks, Robert. No.
There's a question hidden in there somewhere.
Oh, man.
That was a very like Bilbo Baggins kind of like, I like less than half of you, half as well as you deserve.
Yeah.
All right, just for that, Robert gets the Sith origami cream.
I'll never join you. Oh my.
We've reached that point in a Star Wars discussion.
We reached that point. Yes. All right. Well, maybe that's a good time to wrap things up. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Secrets of Star Wars. It's that time when we like to thank all of our patrons who make this show possible. And this episode, we'd especially like to thank Pam and Vincent D, Paul L, Ryan O, and Adhika L. Your generous donations are what help us create the Secrets of Star Wars and all the other shows here at the StarQuest Network. If you are interested in joining them, you can join them at sqpn.com/give. And whether or not you give to support us, we would love to hear your thoughts, because that is an even greater form of support. What did you think of The Song of Four Wings? What do you think of Visions in general, and especially Volume 3? Let us know. You can send us an email at starwars@sqpn.com. You can come to our social media pages, which we listed at the beginning of the episode. Leave a comment on our channel on the StarQuest Discord server, which you can find at sqpn.com/Discord. That's still my favorite place. There's always a good discussion going on the Discord server. So, again, until next time, Thomas Salerno, thank you for sharing the secrets of Star Wars with us. It's great to have you on.
Thank you, Robert.
And Kathryn, it's always a delight to see you. Your thoughts and comments are never shallow.
Thank you.
I am Robert King, and I want to thank all of you out there who are listening. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Star Wars on StarQuest.
Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy. Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World. Find the show wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/mysterious.